If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
800-712-8002. That's 800-712-8002. Paid for by U.S. Med.
Ed Robertson with a reminder that we will play a brand new interview with David Starzyk of Veronica Mars later on in this hour. We hope you'll stay tuned for that.
Hi, this is Kathy Coleman. You're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson welcoming you back to TV Confidential, radio talk show about television that makes you want to say it's a crazy world where anything goes down and most of what appears isn't true. Pretty much everyone listening tonight knows that most, if not all, the most colorful and fondly remembered children's shows of the 1970s and 1980s sprang from the imaginations of Sid and Marty Krofft. Their groundbreaking live-action fantasy shows, including, of course, Land of the Lost, Lidsville, and H.R. Pufnstuf, were mainstays of the Saturday morning airways, not to mention a testament to the artistry and charm of the Krofft brothers themselves and the magical spell they cast on generations of TV viewers. Sid and Marty Krofft were recently honored by the Daytime Television Academy with the 2018 Lifetime Achievement Emmy Award, but their career is by no means over. In the past 3 years, Sid and Marty Krofft created 3 series, including the twice Emmy-nominated Nickelodeon series Mutt and Stuff, and a remake of Sigmund and the Sea Monsters that currently airs on Amazon. Sid and Marty Krofft have several other projects in the works, which we'll ask them about in just a second. On the line with us is Marty Krofft. Marty, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to TV Confidential.
Oh, welcome to my life. No, I'm happy you called. Ed.
Yes.
Ed Robertson.
Ed Robertson, that is my name. That is my name.
You're all over the place with this show. That's good.
I do what I can. I understand that, in a way, your careers began with a topless puppet.
Well, more than one. Hundreds of them. We were up to our tail with boobs. Puppet show, and it was classy, and we played to millions of people, and it cost a lot of money to produce it and run it. We were creatively a hit. Financially, it was not great. But you know what? That was our first big thing, and one thing about us, we never cut short on producing any of our shows. So that's why I guess they're still alive. You can't kill them with a baseball bat.
Well, you can't kill them with the baseball bat because one way or another you tapped on, what people were looking for when they were originally on, and whether it's the nostalgia of people like me who revisit them because it brings us back to our childhood, or because there's the fantasy element which makes them timeless. I mean, that's another reason why so many of your shows are still, reaching audiences today. Well,
there are a couple of things I think were contributed to it all. One is that there wasn't any live action shows at the time. Mm-hmm. And we changed things around. We kind of called them living cartoons. The theme songs were great. I can walk down the street now, 40 years later, and the adults can sing me the theme songs, which is mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. So, they're still alive. I guess, I told my brother one day they'll be worth something. But we own all the shows we did then. Can't do that anymore. That was the one good thing. And do you know the difference between Walt Disney and Sid and Marty Krofft?
No, tell me that, please.
Walt Disney is dead.
Well, that's true.
But there are only 2 companies in our business with libraries that never, ever sold out.
Yeah.
One of them's an elephant, and guess who the flea is? Anyway, the elephant is Disney.
Yeah.
We could have sold out a number of times, and there were a lot of bottom feeders, but what are we going to do? If I sold out, I'd have to stay home, watch daytime television. I'd be dead in a month. Not doing that.
Not doing that at all. I had not realized this until last night, Marty, when I did some homework on you and your brother. Your first network TV show was the Banana Splits. How did you go from the Banana Splits to H.R. Pufnstuf?
Well, let me tell you, that was not our show, but we created those characters. Hanna-Barbera did not know how to do it. They were only doing animation. So they had us create and build all those characters, the splits. And while we were doing it in our factory, where we built everything, NBC, the head of programming, would come with Kellogg's and check on the progress. So one day, the head of programming at NBC said to me, his name was Larry White, he said, "Why don't you do your own show?" And I said, "Okay." He said, "Well, come up with it and then present it to me." So that's how Pufnstuf got on.
And I understand that around the same time, the characters that eventually became Pufnstuf and the world that surrounded him, that was also something you were developing at the World's Fair at the time, correct?
Well, you see, we did all live shows first. My brother started, I was a kid. He was the opening act for Stars. I joined him at one point. Mm-hmm. Some of the stars we were on tour with, Judy Garland, Sinatra, Tony Martin, Liberace. This thing didn't happen overnight. So we had a lot of access to some major people, and we were at Six Flags. We were the creative heads and had our puppet shows there. So you got to watch out what you wish for, because the puppet shows paid for all the over budget on the TV. We were lucky to be alive. We were robbing Peter to pay Paul all the time. Problem was we ran out of Peter a few times. So now, mentioning Walt Disney, when we were at the Flamingo in Vegas with Judy Garland, about a year or two later, I was at the Polo Lounge at the Beverly Hills Hotel with Tony Martin and Sid Charisse having a drink. On the other side of the room was Walt Disney and his wife. So he came over to the table because he saw Sid Charisse's legs, so he definitely came over. And he gave me some advice. I said, "Really? Well, what is it?" He said, "Don't ever sell anything you create, and always fight for your name above the title." Those are two great things. He left out the most important: how to keep your money.
Well,
that was the Walt Disney connection I had. There was one. Of course, I had a big connection at Disney with the following president. I had his son-in-law. The funny thing is that I used to get calls from Michael Eisner to get him into this private club at Disneyland. Mm-hmm. So he wound up with the whole thing, and he never got me in the club.
We're talking to Marty Krofft. Marty Krofft, along with his brother Sid Krofft, are icons to generations of television viewers around the world who grew up watching H.R. Pufnstuf, Land of the Lost, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, Lidsville, Electra Woman, and Dinah Girl, and other Saturday morning shows before morphing into more adult fare with such shows as Donnie and Marie, Pryor's Place, The Brady Bunch Hour, Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell Sisters, and D.C. Follies. The reimagining of Sigmund and the Sea Monsters currently airs on Amazon with David Arquette starring as Captain Barnabas. To keep up with the world of Sid and Marty Krofft, go to sidandmartykrofft.com. Let's go back to Pufnstuf. Correct me if I got the facts wrong. I understand after NBC came to you while you were doing Banana Splits, they said you should be doing your own show. You put together a presentation for Pufnstuf, and you sold the show without a pilot. Did I get that correct?
Well, our pilots were always artwork for the kid shows for the first 6 or 7 shows. So you see, we never thought anybody would read anything. No one reads, as far as I'm concerned. Pictures are the best. So yes, I gave Larry White a book. Oddly enough, I met him. This was the head of NBC. Mm-hmm. Met him at Union Station, because he didn't fly to New York and back. He was once in a plane crash, so he always took the train. And then there were no cell phones or anything. So I gave him the book on a Friday afternoon. I found him at Union Station, handed him the book, and on Monday morning he called me. He says, "Okay, you got it. You're in." And that's how it started. Then the scary part started. Mm-hmm. We had never done a show before.
Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from. Okay, you and your brother, you had been in show business for at least 10 years up to that point, but you'd never produced a show before, so the fact that you were able to get the show done without a pilot, that's amazing in and of itself. But
well, I sent my assistant to a major bookstore at the time. I think they were called Pickwick.
Mm-hmm.
I asked to find a book on how to produce a television series. So that's how it started.
Well, not only you got a book, but you were smart enough to reach out and surround yourself people who knew how to do television so that you can learn about how to produce shows while you're producing your very first show. I mean, that's...
Right, and we had the honor of losing $900,000 and trying to figure out a way where we were going to get it so we didn't go bankrupt. So we owed Paramount, where we shot, $400,000.
Yeah.
He bugged me. I said, don't worry, we'll pay you. And then I don't know who else. We owed the post-production facility, and they were great. The guy said to me, don't worry, I know you'll pay us. Go get your other people that you owe money to. Take care of them first. What I did, though, was I took care of that guy first. We always told the truth. The truth is the best thing. You know, my father always said, tell the truth right away.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they're going to find out anyway.
Yeah. Of course, everyone remembers the Saturday morning show, HR Pufnstuf, but the movie you guys did, you know, with Mama Cass, that was a lot of fun, and the songs by Charles Fox were great. How did you come to work with Charles?
That was his first job in L.A. We hired him and Norman Gimbel.
Mm-hmm.
We knew the guy was talented. And, of course, right after he did the movie, he wrote a small song called Killing Me Softly.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, then he went on to do some of our other shows.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, then he had the theme on Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley,
Mm-hmm.
Love American Style, you know, on and on. He probably did 100 movies. But the guy is talented, and he writes the best melodies. So that's how, you know, we found him. I don't remember. Somebody must have introduced him to us. And we gave him a break. We always gave talent a break. Always liked new talent.
Then just in general, when you're working with a songwriter and the songwriter is going to create songs for whether it's the movie version of one of your properties or the TV version of one of your properties, how does that work? Do you sit down with them and give them an idea of the concept and then, you know, let them do their thing and then they run what they have with you and you work together? Or do you leave them, or do you let them?
Well, I think there's none of the above. I'll tell you what I do. I buy a prayer rug and I pray a lot. That's how it all happened.
So there's a lot of kismet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, with music, yeah, you can audition now. What I do now, I've done this, of course, over and over. I can have 2 or 3 songwriters, you know, present a song to us. And then, you know, on Mutton Stuff, the show we got at Nick now,
Mm-hmm.
we have Michael Picton. He delivered the first show. I knew that he could do it. We had a great guy, and he did all 73. You know, then we supervise it. We don't like something. I call him up. He writes it all in New York, and, you know, we collaborate with him. And, I mean, if something doesn't sound right,
Sure.
you can't use it. But with the movie with Pufnstuf, you know, that was great music. You know, I could make a Broadway show with that music today. In fact, Charlie's still around, and that's what he wants me to do. Charlie's got a lot of money. Overlooking Lincoln Center.
We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the premiere of HR Pufnstuf and the 50th anniversary of Sid Marty Krofft Productions in general, with the replay of our conversation from November 2018 with Marty Krofft of Sid and Marty Krofft Productions. Coming up later on this hour, we will play a brand new interview with actor David Starzyk. David plays Richard Casablancas on Veronica Mars. Before we leave the subject of HR Pufnstuf, how did you and your brother manage to get the psychedelic references past the network censors?
I don't think they got it. You know, I don't think they got Pufnstuf.
Yeah.
Lidsville. You know, now we did nothing that was drug related in any of the shows, but some of the titles, you know, I think we attracted the high school and college kids with them.
Yes, who
Everybody thought we were always stoned doing these shows. Now, I can't vouch for the audiences, but you can't create and produce and be stoned.
Exactly. No, and Cheech Marin would say the same thing. I mean, because writing is a discipline, producing is a discipline.
I tell you, don't compare me with him.
Okay, all right.
Guy's wild. If we had done as many drugs as everybody thought we did, we'd be dead today.
No, but that's the point. You know that it's a business, and when a network invests in you, when a studio invests with you, you got to deliver the product, and you got to take that serious and do the best you can and let the connotations, be interpreted as they are.
The worst drug there is alcohol.
Yes.
Right? That's the one that causes the most trouble. I always tell people, you've never seen anybody smoking pot that ever robbed a bank.
We're talking to Marty Krofft. Marty Krofft, along with his brother Sid Krofft, are icons to generations of television viewers around the world who grew up watching H.R. Pufnstuf, Land of the Lost, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, Lidsville, Electra Woman, and Dinah Girl, and other Saturday morning shows before morphing into more adult fare with such shows as Donnie and Marie, Pryor's Place, The Brady Bunch Hour, Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell Sisters, and DC Follies. The reimagining of Sigmund and the Sea Monsters currently airs on Amazon with David Arquette starring as Captain Barnabas. To keep up with the world of Sid and Marty Krofft, go to sidandmartykrofft.com. While we're on the subject of Lidsville, for me, Charles Nelson Riley, he was the show.
All our villains were the show.
Yeah.
The villains is where it's at.
Yeah.
Of course, in Pufnstuf, we had Jack Wilde. Mm-hmm. Who was the Artful Dodger, and Oliver had the Oscar nomination at 14. But the villains were all Witchy Poo.
Yeah.
We always had great villains. Witchy Poo was great. Benita Bazaar, Hoodoo, and on and on. The Slee Stacks in Land of the Lost. Mm-hmm. There we go.
There you go. What was your experience working with Charles Nelson Riley? What memories do you have of him?
Well, he was so talented, but he was very pissed off at me. Because I told him up front that the makeup would only take 20 minutes. It took 2.5 hours. He didn't forget it. 20 years later, he ran into me at a hotel. Thought I was someone else. He gave me a hug. When he found out it was me, he got scared.
Oh, God.
But there was nobody. He was one of a kind.
Oh, no, and that manic energy, which was part of who he was anyway, that was perfect for Hoodoo and the world.
Well, his voice and his action and his timing, the whole thing was special.
Mm-hmm. We mentioned in our open, you recently brought back Sigmund and the Sea Monsters for Amazon. I understand that of all the shows you and your brother have done over the years, Sigmund is one of your personal favorites, Marty. What is it about Sigmund and the Sea Monsters that you personally have always liked, and why do you think fans continue to love it?
You want to hear the truth? I have no idea. None. Except, you know what? I don't know about favorites. What I liked about that show was less complicated. Mm-hmm. I liked the idea of the sea monster and his brothers and his mother and father. Whatever. I tell you how that show got started. Mm-hmm. My brother was in La Jolla, sitting on a rock with a friend of his, overlooking the ocean. He sees this seaweed in the ocean that he thought was a sea monster. He went down there and got it and put it in the back of his Corvette and came to the office and told me he just found Sigmund. And I said, oh, my God, what are you doing? Okay? And that's how it got started.
When do you know when it's time to bring a show back? Or do you know?
Well, I'd like to say never. These reboots are tough. Don't mess up our reboots because the adults are going to kill us.
Yeah.
Like the Land of the Lost movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was $200 million, and it did horrible because the fans hated what we did. The bloggers really buried us. But oddly enough, because they knew the original, and Will Ferrell, we wound up with a sketch like Saturday Night Live. So when the movie, though, wound up on HBO, the teenagers that were watching it didn't know the show. So the show that ran on HBO was a major hit.
Mm.
But that didn't help us getting our money, though.
No, it didn't help you get it. But look, it kind of goes back to what we said a little while ago. A lot of it is kismet. You do your best. You develop something, or you decide, okay, maybe the time is right to bring it back, and you do your best to put it together. And sometimes the audience is ready for it, and sometimes it's not.
Right. But we do have a great batting average. We've done 20 series in our career, got about 18 on the air, and about 16 were hits.
To keep up with the world of Sid and Marty Krofft, go to sidandmartykrofft.com. Thank you very much for spending some time with me and my listening audience today. I hope we'll have another chance to talk with you later in the year.
So let me give you my address so you can send me a check.
Okay. David Starzyk will join us when we come back on TV Confidential.
Buying or selling a home can be one of the most stressful things we'll ever do in life, but it doesn't have to be. And no one knows better than our friends at Front Porch Realty Group. They're a community of realtors serving the Northern Bay Area of California that cares about their clients as individuals first and foremost. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to lease or sell your property in the Bay Area, Front Porch Realty Group will help you through this important transition by providing you with the right information for your situation while lessening the pain. They also work with a network of realtors throughout California who provide the same high caliber of customer service. Call Front Porch Realty Group at 415-886-7411 for a realtor referral near you. You can also visit their website, frontporchrealtygroup.com, for more information on the services they provide, including upcoming workshops and seminars. For more information, call 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com. Front Porch Realty Group. They'll find the solution that works best for you.
Want a free first ride with Uber? Uber, the mobile app that connects you with a ride at the touch of a button in minutes. Enter promo code TV Confidential after you download the app to receive your first free ride up to $20. For more information, go to get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential.
Hey there, this is Wink Martindale, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Attention sports fans, now you can watch every football game you want all season long without leaving your home with Dish for about $50 a month. Compared to your cable bill, you can save almost $600 a year. Call right now and sign up for Dish and watch every football game you want. With Dish, there are no boxes to pay, plus get free installation as soon as tomorrow if you call now. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch your favorite sports and channels on your smartphone, tablet, or laptop. Be one of the first 100 orders right now and get a free voice remote. Don't miss a single football game all year long and save a ton of money. Get a free voice remote and free installation as soon as tomorrow. But you gotta call All American Dish right now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Miss the show? We have more than 500 hours of archived editions of TV Confidential available on demand as digital downloads. For more information, go to shop.tvconfidential.net.
This portion of TV Confidential is sponsored by The Misadventures of Biffle and Schuster, the hilarious side-splitting new DVD available through Kino Lorber.